This is it. It says right here, hoera, een eigen bedrijf. And that means, hooray, your own business. I quit my job today and I'm officially a freelancer now. And in this video, I'm going to tell you what's going through me right now, what led me to this decision, and everything that's going on. So I have my cup of tea here. Sit down, relax, and have a cup of tea with me, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what is going on. How did I end up here? It all started with the school community that I started at the beginning of this year. It feels so long ago already because it has been such an intense period where I've been doing a lot of work, but that also makes me feel very alive. And I started the school community in March. It is now mid-May, and it has been a lot more successful than I could ever dream of. We currently have over 140 members, and you can really see this community coming together, and people are starting to actually help each other, inspire each other. People are teaming up to do their certifications, and it is truly an amazing thing. And this is the first time that I went all in on something besides work, basically. It's the first time I've actually started something and started a business, basically. Because the moment you sell something to someone, my school community members are my customers. They pay a monthly fee of $19 to be part of the community and to have access to me and my courses. And the moment you have that transaction going, you are in fact in business. And I have been surprised with how much I enjoy that. So the school community is a place where I create courses and where then the people also can ask me questions. There are Q&A calls. And of course, this content needs to be created. So every day I spend about 2 hours a day on working on school. So I work by creating courses, by answering questions, or we have the Q&A calls. And I'm also working 40 hours a week, just a full day job. And I can do that. I can easily work 10, 12 hours a day if I enjoy the work. And that's what I've been doing so far. But I'm also realizing that if I would have more time to spend on school, then I could also create even better things and provide even more value. I have so many more ideas that I want to do, but I feel like I'm constrained for time currently in combination with my full day job. So this is how it started. I started thinking about, okay, I have this school. I noticed that I enjoy this business a lot and helping people this way. How can I make more time for this? And I considered maybe going to part-time, and my employer would have probably, I know for a fact that they would allow me to maybe work a day less, but that would also mean a significant reduction in income and other benefits. And also, it was one of the options that I considered. And in this sort of train of thought, the option of freelancing also came to me. And to tell you the truth, I have had the desire to become a freelancer for years. It's not that I've you hear these stories of people who are born and they know they are an entrepreneur since childhood. I'm not that way. I have never really been that business savvy. But on the other hand, I always had the ambition of having a side hustle or two, and I've always tried to make money on the internet. I mean, the whole reason I'm a DevOps engineer now is because I had bot farms playing online role-playing games and farming gold, which I could sell. Like, that was a side hustle that I discovered and that I did together with a friend. And those were the skills that actually also landed my first IT job. So I've always had this drive to do side hustling and to hustle, to to build something of yourself. And now that I'm talking through this, I actually realized that this has been a part of me for far longer than I actually realized. So as I'm talking through this in this video, I'm also making breakthroughs. That's interesting. But so yeah, it was the school project, and I needed some more flexibility. And there's no truth, there's no hiding that if you work as a freelancer, you get paid more. Being an employee, you get more security, you get more benefits, but in terms of hourly compensation, being a freelancer is much more lucrative in an economic sense. At least that is the situation here in the Netherlands, and I can speak about that a little bit later. But that is definitely one of the reasons why I ended up with this decision, because I wanted to maybe work a day less, or perhaps even working 3 days. If I could find a project where I could work for 3 days, that would be awesome, because then those 3 days would more than suffice my low monetary needs. And then the other 2 days could go to my school and my YouTube channel and growing those areas of focus. But so there's this element of flexibility, reducing my working hours while still remaining a higher amount of compensation. And then also the flexibility of that, right? Like being a freelancer, you can actually like have projects of say a few months, and then you can do that project, finish that, and then go to a next project. And I speak to this in the Dutch freelancing situation a little bit later. But that is something that really appeals to me, this idea of doing projects and finish to start and then moving on to the next one. And I really hope I can do that kind of work. And the thing is, like, I've been a consultant now for well over a year. And that has been an amazing experience. Like I very consciously did many different assignments because I wanted to, as we say in Dutch, look in many different kitchens, in verschillende keukens kijken. So it means that you take a look in different kitchens, you get to learn how things are done in many places and to be exposed to many different environments. And that has been a huge accelerator for my own professional and technical growth. But it also made me aware that, okay, these consultancies that I worked for, they have the contacts, they have these clients that they can place consultants, but there is really very little reason for me, how do I say this? Like you need to have the customers, you need to have the connections to get your assignments. But other than that, the consultancy is just placing you there, right? And then yes, you have the sort of the fellowship of the consultancy, you have some colleagues there, but basically you're just doing your thing as a consultant somewhere and you're part of that team over there. And many of the places I have been, actually I was working with almost all freelancers. They would all be freelancers doing their own projects, their own assignments, as a team, and I would come in there as a consultant, and then they would ask me, hey, why are you not a freelancer? And then that got me thinking, yeah, why am I not a freelancer? And one reason for that is that you have the security, right? So if you are a consultant and there is no work for you, then the consultancy will keep paying you a salary, and what they call sitting on the bench. So if the consultancy is unable to find work for you, you will still get paid. And I know consultants that have been on the bench for several months sometimes. And to be honest with you, that was something that appealed to me, because I honestly thought, okay, if I'm a consultant and then somehow I wouldn't have work for a month, I would think that would be amazing, because think of all the amazing certifications I could do, and I could write blog posts and I could write YouTube articles. Like, It would have been a blessing to not work for 2 months and then and still get an income. And yeah, maybe that sounds a bit strange to say, but yeah, many consultants actually dislike being on the bench, but to me that would have sounded like a blessing to have that for a while. But that never happened because I'm good. I'm a good engineer, and my skills are in demand on the market. And I've never been on the bench for more than 3 days or something like that. Like the moment I started with full stack, like 5 days later, I started on my first consultancy firm, whereas some people have been on the bench for 2 months after they started. And also one of the reasons for that is that there is this relationship that you have with your employer, that they find the projects for you, but it's not like you can just say no, right? It's not like you can, if they come with 3 projects and you say no to all of them, they're gonna say, well, you gotta pick one of these because you're costing us money. And it's not that they have explicitly said that to me or I've been in that situation, but I wouldn't feel comfortable saying no to a project at all, actually. And maybe that's also why I haven't been on the bench, because I generally accepted the first project that they came with me, also because they were fairly interesting. They weren't perfect, not but exactly what I wanted, but I didn't feel like I was in a position to say no. And that is a personal thing. Maybe other people don't have problems with that, but that is another bit of an aha moment I didn't have up until now, that maybe that's why I was always put on projects so quickly. But as a freelancer, I get to decide. It's going to be my decision if I accept a project or not, if I apply for that project, for that assignment. I can cherry pick, and the market currently isn't that good, actually. It's actually not the best times to start, from what I've heard, from talking to other freelancer friends currently. So I should speak to that too. But there is this idea of picking my projects, being my own boss about that, and being fully owning that decision, and also the consequences of that decision, is something that really appeals to me. I get to decide which projects I do, but if I say no, or if I'm too cherry picky and there are no assignments for me, well, then it's my risk. I need to have the funds to sustain myself over a period to validate that, or else I would have to accept work that I don't really want to do just to keep the lights on. Well, that's a situation I can end up in, because the market isn't that good currently. I've been speaking to recruiters for this past week, and also other freelancer friends, and I hear in general that it is quiet. I also heard that a very large firm, consultancy firm with a worldwide presence, now has over 400 consultants on the bench. So yes, there is definitely something happening. I spoke to a recruiter, and he posted a job posting, and he said that within 30 minutes he had a response of over 12 consultancy companies who were all offering their consultants on a freelance gig. So again, the difference between a freelancer is that they're an independent person, and then a consultancy firm is a firm with employees that do consultancy gigs like that, and they have to place them somewhere. So they reached out to this freelance gig, like, would you please take one of our consultants because we have so many sitting on the bench. So that is pretty damn scary. On the other hand, I also feel that I have a skill set that is quite unique, and also I have a bit of a track record already. So if people ask for references, they will get good references. And I'm confident that I put in good work and that they will, if I meet the right match, that they will give me a shot. And if I get the first shot, that's what it's all about. I need to get my first few freelance gigs to build up a freelance track record. I have a consultancy track record, but now I need to get a freelance track record. And when I have that going, then things can go well for me. I mean, there is work out there. There is more than enough work out there. It's a matter of what are you willing to accept in terms of work, what you want to do, and also what is the hourly rate that you are willing to accept. Well, as a freelancer, I'm even a bit more flexible in what I can accept instead of a consultancy firm who have all of the overhead of leasing cars and benefits and all of that. Like I could even outcompete those if it becomes that desperate by just lowering my hourly rate. So, but yeah, the market isn't that fantastic currently, but yeah. It is a dream come true, though. It is a dream come true. And it is something that has been on my mind for so long. And now with the school that is going so well, which also provides a small but some income. I'm not able to live off of it, especially because I'm doing it together with my brother. But still, it is some income, and that gives me some confidence. Like, if I would get 100 more members, then I could actually sustain myself almost on the school alone. So after taxes. So that is also something to consider in my situation. And yeah, it's this thing between being an entrepreneur, a freelancer versus a salaried employee, right? And there's nothing wrong with being a salaried employee. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think I could have been very happy as a salaried employee. Also at the place where I was at was a great place. It's nothing wrong with that. And I'm in some ways a bit sad to leave that place. But the thing is, if you are a salaried employee, you can basically calculate to some degree what you're going to be earning until the rest of your life, until you go with pension, right? And being in IT, I have nothing to complain about. I have a salary that more than covers my needs, but I have a feeling that there is something more in me. And yeah, I need to get comfortable with this, but I am exceptional. I am not normal. Like, it's not normal to have a YouTube channel with 10K followers. It's not normal to become an Azure MVP in less than, in just 2 years. It's not normal to be able to pivot your career that quickly and then also start teaching others about that in your own school community, where people are so interested in you that they're willing to pay a small amount of money to even be a part of that and to gain access to your knowledge. That is not the normal. That's not the normal. Like the normal average Dutchman is overweight, has less than 1,000 euros in his bank account, and he watches TV for 4 hours a day. That's the normal guy. And so I'm not, and I'm in many ways exceptional. And being exceptional also means that maybe a normal salaried life is not the life that I should follow. Maybe there is more potential in me. And I will never know if I don't take the shot, if I don't take the leap and go for it. And it has been in my mind for so long. And now the school is going well. It keeps popping up in my mind. I need to listen, like the call of the wild. It's the call of the wild, and I must follow, because yeah, this is one of the moments in life where if I don't do it, for the rest of my life I would think, what if? What if I took that shot? Like, say I would keep working as a salaried employee and do the school like a bit half-assed in the weekends. I mean, it would be nice, and you have your IT work and you have a bit of a side hustle that you enjoy. But what if I went all in on it? What if I went freelance? What if I did interesting projects? Yeah, I will never know if I don't take the shot, and this is my shot. I'm gonna do it, even if it is a bad market. Because yeah, what is next now? Like, the idea is to focus more on school, but in order to sustain myself, I will need to continue working in the field. And I also want to do that. Like, I'm in love with my work and I wouldn't want to give up my work at all. I just want to combine it with my educational work. And I need to keep the lights on. But also it is an interesting, I can pick interesting projects and learn from those and then give that back to my community, right? But so what's next now is that I quit my job today. I have about a month left at that job. So I will get a salary for May, and then I will get a salary for June, and then my income stops. And I don't have a project yet. I don't have an assignment yet. So I'm going in it, I'm jumping into the deep here, guys. But I've been struggling all week with a sense of insecurity, of a sense of uncertainty. I don't know what's gonna come. I don't know what the future holds. And I'm always the guy who is always thinking about the future, right? I am basically anxious. I'm often a very anxious guy. I don't take great risks. I don't like taking risks. And I can spend hours just, even though you know me as a very relaxed guy, I also go through my phases where I'm just pondering the future and thinking, if this goes wrong, like when I still owned my own car, I now have a leasing car from my work, which I will have to return. But when I had my own car, I was always constantly, when I was driving, I was thinking, oh, what if it breaks, right? Like, I lived in Norway. I live 1.5 hours away from people. It's also a bit of my own choice, of course, but I had to drive 1.5 hours every day to work. Well, if my car breaks down, I can't go to work. What happens then? And I was always just, scared that it would break. And every time I would start my car, it would be like, oh, yes, it works. Even though it was a good car. So I am this sort of guy who tends to worry. That's the word, worry about the future. I am that kind of guy. And now I'm doing this stuff, and it's very interesting to observe my own mind now, to see what places it's going, what stuff it is throwing at me. Oh, you shouldn't do this. You're not fit for this. You can't do this. What if you're not gonna find a job? You're screwing up everything. What will people think of you? What if you don't have enough money to sustain yourself for a few months? What if this? What if that? And it has been very overwhelming. There's a lot of that going on, and that is just something that I'm working through right now. I have to remember to drink some tea while I'm rambling on. But I need to, and this is also part of the journey, right? I'm a content creator, and I wish to share this with my audience, the things that I'm going through. I haven't spoken that much about my personal life. It has been mostly about my technical content and my technical endeavors. But I tend to open up a bit more about what's actually going on in my life personally. And I think this going freelance journey is going to be a nice vehicle for that, to get a bit more comfortable with that and to basically share with you how I tackle these challenges, being the person that I am and the history that I have, and basically open up a bit more about that. And yeah, being able to share that with the community, with my school community, but also with YouTube, to show you what it's like and what I'm experiencing. because I know people in my audience also have the same ambitions, and hopefully I can share that what I'm doing and how I'm overcoming these challenges with you as I'm going through this journey. So the first thing I need to do is to find a good project. So I'm now talking to recruiters, and I have a few websites where there are projects online where you have to respond and then put in your CV. I've gotten a few rejections already, so I'm dealing with rejections. And I've also gotten a few leads, so I'm now dealing with, oh, what if that one happens? That would be interesting, but what if I get that one? Then those would, maybe which one would I pick? And I'm playing all of these theoretical scenarios in my mind, and it's all just wasted energy, right? So it's interesting to observe my own mind coming up with all of these scenarios, and I need to remember to take a step back from that, because it should not detract from my focus on my work and on my schoolwork. And the only thing how I can overcome this is by just working hard, by just keeping the work. Like, I cannot control if I get accepted for an assignment. I cannot control the outcome of this. What I can control is the amount of effort I put in. That's the only thing that I can control. My work ethic, my willingness to work, even if I don't get instant gratification for it, that is the only thing that I can control, and that is the only thing that I can accomplish. So even if it takes several hundred applications to get my first freelance gig, I'm prepared to do that work. If I need to call an hour with this recruiter, that recruiter, constantly selling myself, which is something that I feel very uncomfortable with, and that I know is a skill that I need to learn as a freelancer. It's part of a freelance or an entrepreneur's journey. You need to learn how to sell. You need to learn how to market yourself. And I dislike those things. I would rather focus on technology. But if I go down this path, then I need to learn those things. If I don't want to do those things, I just need to stay in my comfortable shell as a salaried employee and just accept that. So I am overcoming this dislike for those things and doing it anyway, even if I don't want to. And that is an interesting process, to find things that I don't want to do, that are uncomfortable, which I actually draw a lot of parallels from running from. So I've been I'm running half marathons now, whereas 1 year ago I could only run for 10 minutes. And that process has learned me to sort of also to have grit and to do things you don't want to do. So that's the only thing I can do now. I can put out as many lines as possible and react to interesting assignments, projects, freelance gigs, and hope that I can get something before my current employment ends. But if it doesn't, then also there is not a huge disaster, because I have been good with saving up money. I'm very careful with my money, and I have expenses saved for about 3 months. I can comfortably, with my current expenditure pattern, I could sustain, and I could lower my expenses quite a bit too by cutting out supplements that I'm taking. I spend quite a lot on organic food, and I'm not really willing to sacrifice health for that, but there are some levers I can pull in these situations. And not having a freelance gig for a few months might not be the worst for me, as I was talking about in this video about consultancy and sitting on the bench. There's so much work I can do. There are so many courses that I still want to make, need to make. There are so many YouTube videos that I want to make. So in that sense, it would actually be a great investment time-wise if I could get a block of focused content creation time, educational creation, content creation time. So that wouldn't be a disaster in itself if I don't get an assignment right away. I'm going to do my best to do it, but I might not. It might not happen, and then at least I have that as a backup plan that I can put my work into. And then later, when I have done a few assignments, I would be getting a lot more income than I am used to, and I can just carefully save that. And then actually I can take breaks. Like if one assignment ends, I could spend a few months comfortably focusing on the content, focusing on the school, building a few courses, and then go to the next assignment. And that is something that really appeals to me. Because the thing is that the Dutch freelance market, the way freelancing is in the Netherlands, especially in IT, is that the difference between a salaried employee and a freelancer is just astronomical. Like they get paid at least double for the same work, and it's unfair, really. I felt unfair, even though I had a comfortable salary, that a person who is on the same team, working the same hours, would take home almost double what I was earning. And he might even be of a lower skill level than I was. And yes, that person has more risks. He has more things to do. He needs to know how to sell himself. He needs to do his own accounting. He needs to have the administration of having the own business. But there's just such a huge difference in it, and there's just so much more you can take home from the work. And that is just how the Dutch freelance situation is. Like if the pay would be the same as a salaried employee, I'm not sure if I would do it, right? So, and another thing with the Dutch freelance situation is that, like, I'm interested in doing like 3-month projects, 6 months projects. So build an AKS cluster for a small company and set up the whole environment so that the developers can do it, and then maybe train an internal developer there how to maintain the cluster, and then move on to the next one. Like that would be the perfect assignment for me. That would be something that I would love to do. But I'm not sure if that kind of work is out there. Like if you know, my LinkedIn is on my YouTube profile, so please reach out. But that would be the perfect kind of work for me. I would love to do that. Like get 3 months here, 6 months there, 3 months here, do different projects and build stuff. I would love to do work like that. However, in the Netherlands, very often as a freelancer, you are basically a bit of a shadow employee. It's a bit of an unfair employee. So many freelancers are there for several years, 40 hours a week. And then you are not really a freelancer anymore. You're not really an entrepreneur. You're just an employee who just gets paid double the other guys are being paid. And that is the reality of the Dutch freelancing situation, unfortunately. Like many freelancers complain that they can only stay somewhere for 2 years. Like there are freelancers that are in the same place for 5 years at a stretch, working 40 hours a week and earning a lot of money with that. And I don't want to go that route necessarily. Like I will have to keep the lights on here, so I'll have to consider my options. But in my naive freelancing starting flow that I am now, that would be the perfect situation for me. If I would find a 3-month gig now, have some income, focus on the school for a month, then do another gig, and then go from one to the other. That would be my perfect situation. And that's what I'm going for. So I'm really excited about this journey. I'm exploring new territory. I'm exploring new personal territory. I'm seeing sides of myself that I didn't know I had. And I'm excited to go on this journey and to share it with you, with the audience, my YouTube audience, and my I will be sharing more internal stuff with my school community, and basically also document my journey so my school community can also become a freelancer when they are ready for that step. And lastly, like, this would never have been possible with the right people around you. You as a freelancer, you need to have a network. You need to have people who help you. And one of them is my brother. He is really supporting me in ways that it is really deepening our relationship together, because he is such a good stimulator. I can call him anytime and he will take away my doubts, and sometimes I need that, and you can't do it alone. You need to be willing to ask for help, and when you reach out for help, you're also going to get it. That is something that I have learned in life up until now, and also in this freelancing journey it is happening. I have some mentors have appeared in my life in this past year, basically, and I am receiving help, which I'm super grateful for, and I'm not expecting those to be watching this, but if they are, you know who you are, and I will be forever grateful for all of your help, because it's not something that you can do alone. You need to have people around you. You need to have a community, and I'm very fortunate to have people around me that can point me in the right direction. And that is also something that I want to give back to by documenting my journey in this way. So that's what's happening in Misha's life. I am officially a business owner, freelancer, entrepreneur. I'm super excited, super stoked about this. I'll be sharing this, so if you're not subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. It really supports my channel and motivates me to keep going with this. And yeah, I'm planning to do more content around this, because I truly feel that it's also sparking some creative energy in me that frankly has been low for a while. So I think good things are happening because of this decision. Thank you so much for watching and for all of your continuous support, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good day.